Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my efficient Airuts guide. In this guide I'll show you how to get 1.5 million combat XP and 1 million invention XP every hour doing Airuts. It's also insane profit, and it's 5 to 6 mil profit per hour too. So Airuts are literally the best combat XP in the game, along with some of the best invention XP. I got my Royal Cannon during the last Artisans Workshop weekend that's just gone, so now I'm showing you guys this video, and I'm probably going to camp these for a fair amount of time as the XP is too good not to take advantage of. So obviously, as it's a really high XP method, the recommendations for stats are also pretty high. You want 90 plus attack for the tier 90 scythe, and that will give you high end accuracy. You can use a Dragon Rider Lance as it still works because it has the high accuracy. It just doesn't hit as hard as the scythe, so it's less efficient. You want 80 plus defense for Torva gear for high defense bonuses. Bandos can work here, so you can augment and disassemble bandos at level 10 instead of siphoning Torva at level 12, but it can be very risky just taking bandos or Barrow's armour, as the defenses aren't as good as Torva and the Airuts can hit pretty hard, so I would still advise the Torva. 95 plus prayer for reflect, range and turmoil. Turmoil is so good here. It increases your accuracy on the Airuts by so much. You wouldn't get anywhere near the XP per hour without this. You also want 96 plus Herblore for overloads. I use Holy Overloads here as I think they're the best for the Airuts, as Supreme Overloads are a bit overkill, but you can use them here if you want to. But I like Holy Overloads as they're cheap, and the extra prayer always helps if penance is failing or slacking a little bit. 96 plus summoning for a pack yak to help with inventory management. You could use a War Tortoise here, but pack yak is just the easiest one to do, as you can take a bit of extra food if you need to, or if you're new to doing it you might want that extra food to fall back on. Also, you could take a Blood Nihil or a Steel Titan if inventory space is okay for you, but I found if I take a Blood Nihil or a Steel Titan, sometimes the inventory space just get way too clogged, and I found that I can kill 550 Airuts pretty consistently with a pack yak, and I can kill around 600 if I use a Steel Titan or a Nihil. So for the 50 extra kills, I like to chill a bit more with the pack yak, but it's all personal preference. At 92 plus Slayer, you can actually kill the Airuts, so 92 plus Slayer is the requirement that's absolutely set in stone. You need that. Next up, I just want to speak about some of the recommended items. The Spring Cleaner or Alch Runes, if you don't have a Spring Cleaner, are both really good here. The Spring Cleaner breaks down most of the rune items, so you can just note the rest and give you profit while doing so. The Alch Runes, if you don't have a Spring Cleaner, are also really good as they give you more than if you sold the rune pieces on the GE. Although they gave the Spring Cleaner out as a advent calendar prize, so most people have it now, which is awesome. The Royal Cannon with auto restocking is amazing here. If you have the normal Royal Cannon without the auto restocking, you'll have to move around a lot, and then it makes looting a bit harder. So getting the restocking feature just makes it much smoother. Magic notepaper is great to note the Airut bones and the excess rune armor you might get, along with here and there some runite ore and things like that. The Taranwin quiver for the arrow slot is a stat boosting item that's always great to have when you're not even using arrows and you're using melee, so the highest one of those you got will help and be beneficial. The Ring of Death for beginners, or in case you AFK too hard, is also really good. Personally, I take a Ring of Death no matter what, because sometimes I do AFK really hard and nearly die, so the Ring of Death is there just as a backup, so I don't lose my divine charges and I don't have to buy back from death and all of that, as it would cost quite a lot with the gear I take to Airuts. The Amulet of Souls boosts protection prayers by 10%, so it's really good here. When you make them all melee and you pray melee, you're taking essentially 10% less damage, which makes it much easier to heal up. Also, another really good item is the Enhanced Excalibur for a defense buff and a really effective heal. So if you're struggling on HP a bit, the Excalibur can really help as well. The Charming Imp is also perfect here because it automatically picks up your charms, and if you have it tool belted, it doesn't even take up an inventory space. This way you can get some really nice amounts of charms from Airuts every hour as well. As for auras and scrimshaws, the Vampirism Scrimshaw, which requires 80 strength, is needed here. When worn and activated, 1 life point is restored for every 20 points of melee damage dealt. This equals 5% of damage done. So 5% of every hit you do on the Airuts is healed in life. This keeps you sustained so well at Airuts with the protection from melee so you don't take too much damage, it's perfect. Without it, you would die. Penance aura can be extended by the 100 beeswax as well to make it 2 hours instead of 1 hour. Typically, I'll extend the Penance Aura and do 2 hours of Airuts, wait 3 hours, do other stuff like the Arc and all of that, and then I can then do another extended one and do 2 hours again after the 3 hour period of cooldown. This aura enables the player to gain prayer points equal to 5% of any damage they receive. So if I get hit for 1k, you will then restore 50 prayer points, which leads to infinite prayer at Airuts because they're always hitting you and you're always getting prayer back. These two are so good and they work so well together, especially at Airuts. As for the efficient setup that I use to get 1.5 million combat experience an hour, in my inventory I have enough holy overloads and aggression potions to last an hour. You use the aggression potions to lure in the Airuts close to you, especially after killing a whole lot with meteor strike. You won't have many around you, so the aggression potion works in unison with the cannon to lure as many Airuts as possible. I take a couple of sharks at the start. You need some sharks in order to heal yourself, otherwise the range ones you kill at the start will deal so much damage to you, and sometimes you can't sustain it just with your scrimshaw. But once you killed the range ones once, they spawn as melee, so that's fine. I have my royal cannon, my cannonballs, my magic note paper and spring cleaner. I have 3 equipment siphons just in case I need to use all 3 in one trip, which I do in this hour, so it's really useful to carry 3. Unless you know you're not going to need them for an hour and your gear has just been siphoned or something like that. I take 1 noted rune plate body and 1 noted rune plate leg for when the spring cleaner doesn't break them down and I need to note them. They're just a good placeholder. And a pack yak pouch to obviously summon my pack yak when I'm ready and in position. So for my equipment, I take full torva, which includes gloves and boots. I take my ring of death just in case I get too lazy and somehow die. My penance aura, my vampirism scrimshaw, my quiver, my amulet of souls, and my max cape and my scythe. All of these items I spoke about earlier, so there shouldn't be too much to say there. Just the best things I can use for efficiently killing Airuts. I just want to quickly talk about the useful perks I use. I use Enhanced Devoted 3, obtained from 5 fauceted components on my chest. I obtained these fauceted components from the Crystal Teleport Seeds 3 that I farmed for the crystal parts for the crystal siphons. This component takes up 2 slots, although people do use Zaros components for a higher chance of the perk at level 3. I must have got lucky and got Enhanced Devoted 3 from the fauceted components that I got from the teleport seeds, because apparently it's quite hard to get that way, but this perk has a chance on hit to activate the devotion ability for 3 seconds. The devotion ability stops all damage and makes your protection prayer work 100%. So if I'm protecting melee against Airuts, this then has a 3-second immunity period whenever it procs, which is absolutely amazing. Enlightened 3 is on all of my pieces, and this is obtained from Pierce components. This gives 3% increase per rank on the item experience gained. This means that level 3 you get 9% more XP on your items leveling up, which in Tau makes it 9% more XP per hour as they level up 9% faster. Scavenging 2 to 3 on legs is obtained from 5 precious components. I've used hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of components to try and get Scavenging 3. I'm still stuck on Scavenging 2, but Scavenging gives you a 1% chance per rank to obtain 2 uncommon components on a kill as a drop. This is great when killing multiple mobs like Airuts, so if you can't get Scavenging 3, just stick to Scavenging 2 as it's super rare to get Scavenging 3. This perk also has a 1% chance when getting a drop for them to change into 2 rare components instead of 2 uncommon components. Over all of the time I've been doing Invention, I've obtained Nox components this way 3 times. So I have 6 Nox components without ever disassembling any Nox item. This perk is one of my favourite perks in the game. It's absolutely insane. And lastly, I have Precise 5 on my weapon, and it's obtained from 5 armadillo components, and this will just give you a flat 3.75 damage boost, and is an amazing perk as it's just 3.75% extra damage when used. Also, what you want to make sure is that if you go onto your settings, Go to loot settings. Under gameplay settings, you have area loot toggled on. Then what I do is I tick everything that can be looted, so it loots everything that I ever drop, but I set the monetary value threshold at 5,000 GP. So it'll pick up anything over 5k automatically when I pick it up in my preferred area loot system. This way I don't pick up the sharks or the gems that drop here and there, and I only pick up the stuff that are useful. So like Airuts bones are 6k and all the rune pieces, etc. are way more expensive. So it picks up all the expensive stuff and leaves the non-expensive stuff and the sharks on the floor, so the loot interface does not disappear. A very easy way to get there, you just click on the tab that's community, so it brings up this window. Then you click on the grouping system tab and you want to make sure Mazcab is selected. Once that's selected, you can click view selected. This way it comes up with a button saying join queue. To the right of that, you can create a group. Once you've created a group, you can then update your group, which then will allow you to ready up, which then will give you a message to complete group, and then it allows you to teleport right to Mazcab. This way you can get to Airuts really quickly and really easily. There's a couple of ways you can do this and a couple of optimal places to stand. I've tried a couple and I found this one to be the most effective. If you go 5 steps out of this rock, you can set up the cannon there, and then if you stand directly southeast of that cannon, you can then start killing the Airuts in that location. The hardest bit about killing Airuts is that their range when they first start attacking you. So those range ones, you just need to pray range, run up to those ones and kill them, as the range hits can hit really hard. But once you've killed them as rangers, they will turn to meleeers, as the cannon will hit them, lure them over, and they'll be melee. Although sometimes when you hit the ranger they can turn to melee, but other times you have to fully kill them for them to respawn as melee. So as you can see, I just killed the range ones, and then it's just time to AFK in the spot while AoEing down all of the Airuts I can. There's a couple of important things you need to note. At 20 minutes, you'll have to re-pick up your cannon and it will display a message in the chat that it's nearly decayed. If you let it go past 5 minutes after that warning is in the chat, then you'll have to go back to the guy above Falador at the dwarf place to then reclaim your cannon, and it wastes so much time. So make sure you're picking up your cannon every 20 minutes whenever it displays that message in the chat. Also, as for skills, make sure cleave is your number 1 on your revolution bar. Use hurricane and quake as much as you can, and use the ultimate ability Meteor Strike, as it will deal so much damage, and then make your crits give you adrenaline, so then you can easily work your way back up to having enough adrenaline to continue hurricaning and quaking. Pretty much just do this all the way for the hour while picking up the Airuts bones by using your loot custom on your loot interface, and then that's it. That's how you kill them. It's nice and simple, nice and easy. If you start taking too much damage, you can use the devotion ability to make it minimize all of the damage, so then you can heal up while your protection from melee is 100%. I typically also use my pack yak to store other items for me. So my rare drop items I put in the pack yak. I put my ceramic scales in the pack yak. I put a couple of sharks in the pack yak if I need to. So the pack yak counts for a lot of extra inventory space, so it helps with inventory management and it makes it much easier to do. If you're using a Blood Nihil or a Steel Titan, you'll have much less space available and it'll be much harder to juggle all of the Airuts bones you're picking up and noting. Also, you have to remember that when you pick up the cannon, you need 4 inventory spaces available, so I try to clear up 4 inventory spaces at all times. So as for a price check for that hour, I managed to make 10 mil in profit in items from my spring cleaner, runite ore, the Airuts bones, and the actual big drops like rune. That gave me most of the money, but then you get some extra really nice additions like ceramic scales, the bars, the herbs and logs, which all add up for a lot of extra money in the end. The cost of the supplies was 4,103,805 GP. The supplies were the cannonballs, notepaper, siphons, divine charges, etc, etc. So all in all, this hour made me nearly 6 mil, which is great. I also got 52 blue and 316 crimson charms in this hour, so you get some really good rates on crimson charms too, which is awesome, as I want to stock some up for the double XP in February to try and get 120 summoning. Thanks for watching everyone. I hope this guide was useful to you. I tried to keep it as in depth and cover everything that I could so that you have a really deep understanding on how to efficiently kill the Airuts. Give the video a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new for future content like this. Feel free to join my friends chat Maikeru in game for a chat, and Goblin Slayers, my clan is open to all viewers. And we're having clan events weekly now. We have nearly 120 members and it's growing by the day. We're nearly at tier 4 Citadel as well, so our Citadel is progressing nicely too. If you want an invite, give me a message in game or in the friends chat. If I'm not on, someone else will probably be on to be able to invite you as well. The Discord link will be in the description. We've been having huge Discord chats with 10 plus people at a time. Always so funny. Like I always say, my gaming experience has been improved so much chatting to you all, so thanks for that, and until next time, see ya.